All right, Sydney. So I've told my kids, I said, part of living is talking to people you don't know. And so when we were in Lawrence Monday night, good friend of mine, Tim Gustafson, knows your dad.
Yep.
And so I started talking to your dad, and I figured out that I coached against your dad when he was in high school because he grew up in Hampton and I was coaching in Clarion. And
Yep.
then I started talking to you, and lo and behold, you're the co-director of Cyclone Alley, so which was kind of
Yeah.
bizarre. So tell us a little bit about, most people don't know what your role would be if you're running that. I
Mhm.
mean, some people probably think you're the one actually cutting out the big heads or whatever. I mean, so tell us a little bit about, maybe what you do, how you got to Cyclone Alley,
Mhm.
anything that, the average person that's never, because Cyclone Alley didn't exist when I was in college. And so
Yeah.
this is kind of a new thing for us old people. So if there's something that you can kind of educate us on what you guys do. And I know you told me you have to go to all the men's games and all the women's games. That's a pretty rough gig. But anyway,
I know.
so tell me a little bit of how you got there, what you do, and all that stuff.
Yeah, so Cyclone Alley is a part of SALC, which is the Student Alumni Leadership Council. And we also work with marketing in athletics. So we're kind of that middle ground between both of them. And we work with both. So I had meetings with both today to get ready for college game day tomorrow. So little things that we do, we are in the front row on both sides of the student section. We create all the fat heads of the players for men's and women's, and then also all of the fun fat heads as well. We come up with all those ideas, send them to athletics. Athletics helps us create those fat heads, and then from there, we can have those at the games. We have 3 different subcommittees within our committee. So we have our social media team. There is 3 people on that team who help run our Instagram, create reels, interact with students, take pictures at games as well to kind of promote us on our socials. And then we also have a fan engagement committee. So our fan engagement committee does face painting before games. They help hand out the fat heads of all the players and all the fun fat heads. We even do like little tattoos before games. They're kind of really that pregame amp up. We also have created weather reports this year. This is our first year of doing little weather reports. It's kind of just like a small piece of paper explaining everyone on the opposing team some kind of trash talk about the opposing team. So we
That's
have
awesome.
different things that we can say and that the students are aware of before the game and that they can use during the game. And then other just little things like chants and other things that you would want to know as a student in the student section. And then our last committee is basketball operations. Basketball operations is really behind the scenes. They go to our closet within Hilton and grab our fat heads. We have a basketball hoop that we use pregame for students to kind of just like try and shoot mini baskets and they can win a t-shirt out of it. Any kind of behind the scenes operations that we need, basketball operations helps us with. The big tarp that we use before tip off, that's basketball operations job, getting that tarp out and getting that prepared. So that's kind of our 3 subcommittees that we use within Cyclone Alley. And then I am a co-director along with another person. Her name is Sydney as well, Sydney with a Y. So it gets a little confusing, but it's
Sure.
super fun. To be a co-director, I had to be on the committee for at least 1 year. So last year was my first year on Cyclone Alley, and I was a part of the social media team. And then I decided that I really wanted to apply for the co-director position. I have grown up around Iowa State basketball my whole life. My parents have had season tickets since before I was born. So it's definitely been something that shaped me and kind of had me around that atmosphere my whole life. And so I knew being a co-director of Cyclone Alley would kind of bring me full circle with that.
Is your mom a former cheerleader?
Yes, my mom was on the dance team.
Gotcha.
And my parents met at Iowa State.
Gotcha.
So
Awesome. Perfect person to do this.
yes, and I grew up in Ames practically my whole life. I went to Gilbert, which is just North Ames, basically. I've been to football games and basketball games since the day I was born. So I have been a very, very passionate, like this is just in my blood. My parents tell me I'm a brainwashed Iowa State Cyclone fan. So
that's what I tell my kids too, because
yes,
my story,
yes.
my story is like 40 years prior to 50 years prior to yours, because I grew up going to Iowa State games. My
Yep.
kids are all Iowa State fans now. My
Yeah.
grandson says Keyshawn's a dog. He's 2 years old every home game. So, I know how that works. So,
Yes.
and so the fact that your parents met there and, your whole story about doing that, I mean, it's kind of cool. But, the whole social media thing, what do you guys get the most traction with? Do you get the most interaction through Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or what's
Mhm.
the venue that you're getting the most, back and forth with people on?
Yeah, definitely Instagram and Twitter are our main platforms. Twitter is definitely for students and like the older generation. For example, I
Sure.
don't use
Yeah, you told me that you're not on
Twitter,
Twitter. Yeah.
X. Yeah, but we do have a member who is constantly on there responding to other things that people have to say about the student section or other things like that. And we love to support on that. And then Instagram is a huge one for us because that's what a lot of students use.
Mm.
We do little giveaways and stuff on our platforms, which helps us gain followers, but definitely our Instagram. And then we use Instagram Reels, which are technically
Yeah.
TikToks, but in Instagram. So that's what we've used for our main platform to get information out to students or promote anything that we need to promote.
Are you getting any Are you doing anything like what's the YouTube version of Reels? Do they call them Reels too?
YouTube Shorts, I
Yeah.
think.
Do you do any YouTube
Yeah,
Shorts?
something like that. We do not. We do not have a
Okay.
YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
we don't have a TikTok channel at the moment because within SALC there's an SALC TikTok, but
Oh,
we haven't used that yet. We kind of just use our Instagram Reels because our Instagram is so built up at the moment. It's just kind of
okay.
easier for us to keep it on the same platform.
Sure. So you're talking about this little hoop that you've got pregame or whatever.
Mhm.
Wasn't Rob Jones shooting in that at one of the games this year? I heard that
Yeah, probably.
he was sitting in the student section, I guess, and somebody was having him shoot into
Yep.
that or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
so we have like a mini Nerf hoop, like the Nerf hoops that you would put on the back
oh
of
yeah,
your door.
oh
We
yeah,
have one of those with a little basketball, and we'll kind of just like hold it up and throw the mini ball at students, and they can try and like make the basket. So yeah, it's just a nice little interactive pregame
sure.
thing that we like to do that also interacts with basketball.
So were you the one behind the cell phones, holding up the cell phones for Kansas State last weekend on the first
Yes.
time out?
Yes, we
Well,
even
I had an
have
idea, and I didn't know who to talk to, but I thought
yes,
everybody ought to have magnifying glasses.
yes,
Because
yes, you
it
did
was a
tell me
big.
that. I remember that, yeah.
I wanted to bring like a giant one, but my tickets are so bad, and it wouldn't have mattered. So,
Yeah,
so I thought that but that went away fast because we just didn't play very well. But
yeah,
that's another story.
that
But
was unfortunate.
so have you ever heard of the Antlers from Missouri?
I don't know if I have.
Back in the day, I think I told you another story that I'm not going to repeat on here, but the Antlers are like the wicked version of Cyclone Alley.
Yeah.
They meet the visitors team at the airport
Yeah.
and they start heckling them. So
Oh
Jeff
god.
Grayer, this is a really kind of tragic story, but Jeff Grayer used to play at Iowa State back, probably before even your dad was there.
Yeah.
But his mom was sick and they started heckling him at the airport. I mean, that's next level mean. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to do that, but I mean, that's kind of the weather report thing is pretty calm compared to
Yes.
some of the other stuff that goes out
Yes.
there. So,
Yeah, we have to be a little cautious with what we do put on the weather reports.
sure.
Just because we don't wanna
Right.
upset people.
Right.
But
Right.
at the same time, there's some trash talk on there that we can use.
So do
So
you go
it's
directly
nice.
to the other players
What's that?
on Instagram? Are you going is it just something that happens at the game? Are you using social media
Oh,
stuff?
no. Yeah. We're finding information that is not something that you would want
Really?
to be heard about yourself and putting it on that weather report.
Like girlfriends' names or who you broke up with or
Yeah, or,
that
like,
kind of stuff?
even if there's, like, bad things that they've done that have gone, um,
Oh
viral.
boy. Oh boy.
Yeah,
So
anything,
that's the social
any
media
trash
world that we
talk.
live in. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So how many are on? So technically, how many are on the Cyclone Alley committee? How many guys are there?
Yeah, so we currently have 14 members,
Okay.
and that's kind of been a steady 14 to 16 members each year.
So are you doing this because are you going into sports marketing, or what do you no? What are you going into?
Well, I'm actually an agricultural studies major. So
Oh, wow.
it
So there's
has
not a lot of connection between sports marketing and agriculture studies. So,
no. So I do have marketing within my major. So
oh, yeah, that
some
makes
of the
sense.
things that we do with marketing and really associates within Cyclone Alley. So I've definitely applied that into it, but it doesn't matter what major you are for to be on
Okay.
Cyclone Alley. It's
Yeah.
more of just a passion, and we all share. Everyone on Cyclone Alley shares the same connection of the love for Iowa State basketball, men's and women's. It's just a really great environment to be in with all of our committee members because we are crazy wild. We love getting energetic at games and we love hyping up other people, and that's our main goal.
So I think you said it's not paid. You don't get any
Nope.
compensation for this. So this is all voluntary.
Yep.
So it's basically just a resume builder, I guess you could say. I
Yes.
mean, you can put that on your resume when you go apply for a job somewhere, I'm
Oh yeah,
assuming.
for sure. Yeah,
Great.
definitely unpaid position, co-director and committee members. So we
Wow.
all do this. We all take all of our free time to go to every men's and women's basketball game during the season.
So did they offer you any chance to go to away games, or you were just there with your parents, right? Your dad,
Yeah, I
right?
was there with my dad and my brother. Yeah, we don't go to any away games. We're not offered to go to any away games.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just because I mean, we don't have a student section at away games, so that's
Right,
why we
yeah,
have
that
a
makes
full
sense.
purpose there. But
Right.
we, as committee members, we all do travel very well. Even for football games, I saw several people when we played in the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Down in Kansas City, I saw several committee members down there, all going to the game with their families and friends. And Big 12 tournament, we all love to travel for Big 12 tournament in Kansas City as well. So
Oh, yeah, that's
we're
fun.
pretty good at traveling as a committee, but we do that out of our
So were
own.
when you were a kid, was your mom and dad dragging you to the Big 12 tournament too?
No, actually, last year was my first year going.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But so my dad and my brother have been down there before, but I told my father, I said next year. So last year I just turned 21 that year before the Big 12 tournament. So I said this year I have to go. And I got back from spring break on Friday night when we won our game to go into the championship. I literally just pulled into my driveway and my dad called me after the game. He goes, "So we're heading up to Kansas City. We're heading down to Kansas City tomorrow. We're going to leave at 11 a.m. Are you ready to go?" And I was like, "Yep, sign me up. I'm going to this championship game." So I got to live my dream of going when I turned 21, and it
Yeah,
was
go to the Big 12 tournament if you're 21 helps a lot. Just
yes,
saying.
yes, it does. But
I
I'm
took
so glad I went.
my youngest is 20, and we took him. So my one son's a doctor in Iowa City, and so we were all at his house watching one of the games, and then on the spur of the moment, we packed everybody up and drove to from Iowa City to Kansas City for one of the
Yeah.
games. And my youngest was probably, gosh, 9, and you
Oh
know
gosh.
how Power and Light is.
Yeah.
And I had
Oh
to
my
grab him
gosh.
by the back of the shirt and take him through the crowd because I was
Yeah.
afraid I'd lose him because you lose somebody in
Right.
there, and yeah, so
Oh my gosh, it's
yeah.
so crowded you can't even, like, breathe.
But
I
the
remember,
weather, I
like,
hope the
going
weather's
through the
nice this year because the weather,
yes.
like it was in Lawrence, it was really nice when you got there. But if it's
Yeah.
a warm day, it is nothing better than Power and Light during the Big 12.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's such a good atmosphere, and the best part is that it's all Iowa State fans.
Oh,
All
right,
of them.
yeah, yeah.
All Iowa State fans.
The Oklahoma State or Houston pep rally has like 10 people at it. I
Yeah,
mean,
and then
I mean,
Iowa State comes in and everyone's like, "Alright, watch out, here comes a storm."
well, the businesses don't want Iowa State to lose
Yeah,
because if everybody goes home,
and
now
Power and
there's
Light's
not.
just dead.
If when Kansas and Iowa State both lose and don't get to the championship, they lose a lot of money.
Oh,
Unless
yeah,
Kansas
for
State, of
sure,
course, is in it. But
for
so
sure. Yeah.
game day. I don't know when we're going to get this up, but I know game day is coming tomorrow.
Mhm.
What's that mean for you guys?
I got a 6 a.m. wake up call tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, our goal is to be in Hilton at 7 a.m. ready for the students to go. We have to pregame before the students come in, we have to do all of our weather reports. We do lay our weather reports out on the seats. So that's our main goal first, is to get all those weather reports laid out before the students are let in. And then we will go to our closet and grab our fat heads and face paint and all of those sorts of things, so we are ready for the students. We do have a lot of downtime in between because college game day doesn't start until 10 a.m.
Right.
And I mean, we'll probably be in there for 2 hours, if not longer, with the students. So,
So students can get in at 8:30 tomorrow, right?
yep. Yeah. Yeah, there is possibility of that being earlier, but that's undecided yet. So that's why we're going to be there earlier, just in case, because you never know what happens. So
Right. I mean, I'm hoping it's a good crowd because the weather tonight isn't very good. There's
yeah, I know.
freaking rain coming in, and I think
Yeah,
that unfortunately that's going to deter people up north here trying to get down to the game. But
trying to get
so do
down.
you
Yeah.
get to interact with any of the game day guys, or are you guys just going to be in the background?
We'll probably just be in the background. I would love to interact with them, but that's not in the agenda right now. If they ask to interact with me, we will definitely do that. I know we did that with CBS Sports in the pregame earlier in like November, December. They did like a little segment about Cyclone Alley in the student section because they were trying to showcase student sections. So if they were to come up and ask us about anything, we would love to interact with them. But obviously that's not, the ball's not in our court on that situation. So we're just going to try and bring a loud and exciting atmosphere for college game day when we can. We're going to try and create some posters. So if you have any poster ideas for me, feel free to let me know and I will put them out there.
Most of my ideas probably wouldn't be able to be on TV, but so
yeah,
because I like the trash talking idea, but I'm sure Pollard is going to police the signs pretty well. I mean,
yeah. So normally we aren't allowed to bring signs in, but because of college game day, they are letting us bring in signs. But I think they are going to look at them before we bring them in. So they are a little bit strict on that. They've always been strict on that, and it's hard.
So this is a random question, but what do you guys do with the fatheads when you're done, when the season's over?
So for the player fatheads, we actually give them to the players.
To the players, okay.
Yep. So if they want them,
that would definitely be an eBay item. I mean,
yeah.
Imagine
I want one.
Yeah, like Tyrese Halliburton's or Monte Morris's. If you had any of those would be
right. I know. I wish we almost just kept some of them so we would have those. Like, Halliburton's supposed to come back during the Arizona game. It would be so cool to have his fat head still for that.
Well, he'd love it too.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be so fun. I do wish we could keep them, or like even keep them for future Cyclone Alley, or like even keep them for myself. Like I would love to have that.
You can make an extra one, can't you? I mean, who's printing those things?
I wish. We don't personally make them. We just tell athletics what we want made. So.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So it's more under athletics kind of situation for us. We just help them out, and I mean, obviously, give them out to the students.
So do you may have said this, and I apologize if I didn't catch it, but do you guys have like meetings with Pollard? I mean, just kind of tell you what they expect of you, or who at Iowa State do you answer to?
So we do have a meeting with Pollard once a year as co-directors, but that's kind of an all student body type of situation. So like he'll bring in SFE, which is Greek life, and like student government and RAs and stuff like that, to hear out what students have to say or if there's any concerns, and then just kind of walk us through some stuff that's going on within the university. So nothing big. We don't really have weekly meetings with him or anything of stuff that he wants us to do. There's kind of a base standard of, all right, don't be cussing at games, don't do this, don't do that kind of thing. And I mean, we can only do so much when there's so many students and there's only 14 of us. But there's kind of just a standard ground with that. We work alongside marketing within athletics. So they are in the Jacobson building.
Gotcha.
And we have weekly meetings with marketing on kind of what they're doing during games, what we're planning on doing during games, and kind of like planning out a schedule for both of us so we understand like what's going on. And they're kind of like our right-hand man when it comes to any information about Hilton or games or any changes. So
So have you had anything go sideways with Cyclone Alley and then somebody's gotten reprimanded? Not this year, maybe even last year or other years?
I mean, there's been like nothing huge, but I don't remember what game this was. It was early in the season. Might have been the Kansas game. But we have a fat head that has like a graveyard and a person pointing at it. And so every game we have the team's logo and we slap that logo on the graveyard.
Oh yeah,
Like
okay.
if we beat them, it's like, haha, we beat you.
Right.
Here's you in the graveyard. And one of our committee members, who is actually my brother, surprising, he went up to the team as they were walking back to their locker room and held up the sign like in their face.
Oh no.
And we got yelled at by the Big 12 for that.
Well, I probably know why.
Yeah.
Because you know what happened a few years ago.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what they
yeah.
talked about. That we did not want to start a fight. So
Yeah, I mean that was an ugly incident, but that's
yes.
still. Was anybody ever getting kicked out? I mean,
oh no.
like banned from Cyclone Alley or anything like that?
No. Nobody's gotten banned from I mean, everyone on our committee kind of knows the rules, kind of knows the standards.
Gotcha.
As a Cyclone Alley member, we are not allowed to cuss. So when
Oh.
their students are saying BS or other things like that,
Well, they've gone a little deeper than that. But go ahead.
yes, things like that. We kind of have to keep our mouth shut because we are in a leadership position, and we don't want to condone that. So
Sure.
we kind of just stay quiet during those things. So yeah, we've never really had any situations where anyone's gotten kicked out, but we have gotten yelled at before for going a little over the boundaries.
So when you went to Lawrence Monday, are you there looking at their student section, maybe picking up ideas or anything like that? The thing that I thought was cool was kind of their popcorn thing that they did when you're shooting free throws. I don't know. I've never seen that before, but
yeah, where they were all sitting down and kind of each popping out. Yeah, I was trying to also like figure out because it didn't look like they had a Cyclone Alley. It's kind of just like all of their students. So I was trying to figure out like how they planned that, like how is one person conducting that entire thing? And it's kind of like the front row people were being like when they did like the rolls.
Right, yeah.
One person would be like, okay, we're going to do this like right before we started shooting, and then they would all do it. So I don't know. It was pretty interesting how they just kind of they all trusted each other and like followed that person. So yeah, I liked the interactions that they had. We've been struggling a little bit with our free throw interactions because we do have our fat heads that we kind of wave around, but we also have a sign that says like wave your hands, and then we'll like go one way or go the other way, but we don't really do that. We don't implement it very well. So I've been looking at Kansas is one of them that's very good at free throw distractions. So
I know they used to count dribbles out loud, really loud when they were shooting free throws, like 1, 2, and then I remember when Kirk Heinrich played for Kansas, the student section started chanting Harry Potter because he kind of looked like Harry Potter a little bit.
Yeah,
and that really bothered him. I mean, I could see in his, he was a freshman, of course, but I could really see in his face that it bugged him. So. Yeah, I would be if I was in Cyclone Alley. There's no doubt I'd be kicked out. I mean, but when I was your age, because I was when I was in high school, I was stealing stuff from Iowa State games and taking it back to my high school and getting in trouble. So yeah, I'm sure it's fun. I mean, but it's it's the one thing that I pointed out to my kids that I know nobody has any control over. But if you notice in the Kansas game, the band seemed like it played a lot more.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Rather than the pump up music that's being, that all the songs that I've never heard of that they're playing through the speakers.
Yeah.
And I thought it felt, I know it's Allen Fieldhouse, but I feel like the band almost made it seem more like an important game. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but
no, yeah, I actually brought that up to my dad and my brother when we were at the game, that the band was like playing songs and the students were like singing along, or like they had something to go along with the band. And that's not something that we do in Hilton. I feel like we in Hilton we're more into like the songs, like for example, the Juicy Wiggle. Everyone goes crazy over the Juicy Wiggle, but then the band starts playing after Juicy Wiggle and everyone just wants to sit down.
Yeah.
Well, that is something that I realized, and we've actually been trying to work on that this year, working more with the band. But Yeah, no, I loved that they did that. It felt more like they were in unity because the band is next to the student section. The band's next to the
Right.
student section at Hilton too. So like
Yeah.
why wouldn't we be doing that, you know? So that's definitely something that we've brought up and talked about this year. So hopefully we can implement that more into future years.
Yeah, I mean, I just know just because I've been going to Iowa State games since shoot, I was 9 years old probably,
Yeah.
and this whole playing the hip hop music and any of that other stuff is new. I mean, there used to be a
Mhm.
lot more of and I don't know why. I mean, I just and I
Yeah.
know and I always err on the side of the players. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, like there's a lot of people my age that complain and moan about the black uniforms. I could give two rips about the black uniforms anymore. I mean, if the
Yeah.
kids like them, great. And if they're
Yeah.
the ones that like playing that music, I guess. But I just would, back in the old days, I mean, they used to play the fight song when they came out, and they'd
Mhm.
play it through twice. And it
Yeah.
seemed like it really kept the whole crowd more engaged. Then
Mhm.
now they come out and they play it once, and
And
then they
then
start playing the songs that 90% of the donors haven't heard
don't
before.
know.
And they sit down, they kind of disengage a little bit. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hate even saying that because it makes me sound so flippin' old. I mean, when I'm complaining about the music or whatever, I mean, that's your guys' call. But I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, that's been my only criticism is the free throw thing. We've got to make it harder to shoot free throws
I
in
know.
Hilton, one way or the other. I mean,
Well, and I feel like
go ahead.
we've been good at it in the past.
Yeah,
Like,
I do
I
too.
remember growing up and, like, sitting in the stands and watching the student section during free throws and being like, "Oh my god, they are so loud, they are going crazy, they have stuff going up in the air," and I feel like this year it's just really been kind of mellow. Like, the student
Yeah,
section in general has been really mellow, and, um, there's only so much we can do to make people have energy, you know? Like,
sure.
at the end of the day, we're trying to face paint everyone we can. We're trying to have people interact, get those fat heads so they can wave them during the games. And some
Yeah,
people just are there to watch the game. And I don't know. I just feel like
yeah,
it's not a strategy that we've had played out very well or a standard that we've had in the student section that like if you are here in this student section you need to be the best fan. So I feel like that's something that I would love to work on it for in the future, but it's just a
sure.
matter of how we do that because
Yeah.
you can't force people to do things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, it's a hard job, and then the other side of it too is that I thought the students showed up great for the Kansas State game.
Mhm.
But I'm just sitting there watching it, and you watch in Allen Fieldhouse, the top row of the student section because they don't have a walkway.
Mhm.
It's closer to the court than our
Yeah,
top row.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? And so
Yeah.
it's hard to keep all of those guys engaged. That are 5 rows from the top because I sit 4 rows from the top. I mean, and it's if it's student section is hit and miss, I'm assuming, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what the answer is, but I think if one there was I don't know if you remember the play where Naz Long hit a three against Oklahoma State to send it to overtime.
Yep,
How
I
loud it
remember that.
was when that guy missed
Yeah.
that free throw. And you go back even further, we're playing Texas, and they had a 90% free throw shooter at the line, and
Mhm.
it was so loud in there. And Fred Hoiberg even talks about, he remembers he could feel the floor vibrating
Yeah.
at Hilton because it was so loud. So I don't know. I mean, I think our crowd kind of goes the way our offense goes. That's just my
Oh,
opinion. You know,
easily.
if we're struggling on offense, it's hard to get our crowd engaged. Our crowd knows when we need to stop. I mean, we're really good
Oh,
at
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
But I think I told this guys I was with, I think it was, and it was not a good comparison Monday. But as soon as we made a shot, the Kansas fans shut up.
Yeah.
So if we could have just gone blow for blow with them a little more, that would have taken the
Yeah.
crowd out. But
Well,
they
our
were just
shooting percentage was terrible.
brutal. Yeah, but we'll never do that again. And I don't.
No,
I kind of, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I kind of called Allen Fieldhouse a little bit of a fraud because they had the speakers turned up
oh my
so
god.
flipping loud.
Yeah.
Can you
Their
imagine if they
speakers
had that?
were shaking the building.
Yeah, I mean, so can you imagine if we're how many old people will be complaining if we had the speakers cranked
Right.
up that loud in Hilton? I mean,
Right.
I've heard people complain about the speakers being too loud in Jack Trice. It's outside for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I don't know what the answer is, but I
Mhm.
think I think hopefully game day is going to pump everybody up and we get a good crowd there. I just am really
I agree.
bummed about the weather. I mean,
I
I'm
know.
hoping that doesn't keep people away because I
Yeah.
think it's coming in from the south, and a lot of our fans come from that, within an hour of
Yeah.
Ames. So
Yeah.
so
I
well,
think
Sydney,
if
go
people
ahead.
really want to be there, they'll make their way.
Well, I mean,
I think it's a
I was
big game
actually
for
going
us.
to a game last year, and it was a similar day,
Mhm.
and I was with my wife, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and there's a car that spun out,
Oh gosh.
and they turned around and went home. And so, yeah, so then we went another 5 miles and ran out of it. But that's the kind of flashbacks I'm having. I mean, I
Yeah.
really want to go tomorrow, but I can't skate there. I can't.
Yeah.
That doesn't make
Right.
any sense. But
Right.
well,
Well, I
Sydney, I
hope you
really appreciate you coming on. You're welcome to come on any
yes.
other time. If you ever have anything you want to promo or anything, just reach out to me and we'll get you back on sometime. But I know what it's like to do an unpaid position. We really appreciate everything you guys do, and
Thank you.
hopefully we get a good turnout and you guys have a lot of fun with game day tomorrow.
Yes, I hope it's a great day. Hopefully we can get out of this 3-loss streak.
Yes. Well, we just got to shoot the ball better. I mean, that's the bottom
Yeah.
line. I mean,
Yeah.
and we've said this on here a million times. I think we're tired. I mean, we need Milan back.
Yep.
And we need to pump in some confidence back into Nate Heisey
Yep.
and I don't. Have you heard Demarion land on his back so hard? Do you remember that last play at the end of the game? I
Yeah.
haven't heard whether he's hurt it or not at all. Have you? I mean, he was.
I
at
haven't
the
heard
touchdown.
anything about that. I have heard that Milan is looking at coming back this weekend. That might be huge for us.
Like
But yeah.
as in tomorrow?
Mhm.
Oh, that's breaking
There's
news.
word.
Wow.
There's word, but I can't confirm anything. But there is a very strong word going around that he should be ready for tomorrow. So we'll see
You
what
heard it
happens
first here.
on that court. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to put that like the breaking news soundbite in the background or something.
Breaking news: Milan is coming back.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Sydney. I really appreciate it. If you ever need anything from us or want to, like I said, want to come on and promote something, just give me a holler.
Yes, of course. Thank you. I appreciate you having me today.
You bet. Go Cyclones.
Yes, go Clones.